guys, welcome to Notes on the Journey. I'm Sister Shirley, a daughter of Mary and Help of Christians, aka Salesian Sister of St. John Bosco. Notes on the Journey is a podcast where we will hear different guests share a little bit about their vocation story with the Lord. We will also have the opportunity to listen to a favorite song of theirs that connects to God's call. My hope and prayer for you through this podcast is for you to be encouraged in your own vocation, in your own life journey, appreciate God's work in people's lives, and to hear some beautiful and uplifting song choices. Welcome everybody to Notes on the Journey. I am very happy and excited to say that we have a priest today. This is our first priest we have on Notes on the Journey. We have Fr Praveen Lakkisetti. Welcome, Fr Praveen.
Thank you, sister. I'm very happy to join you on this podcast.
Yes.
Notes on the Journey. What a title.
We are very happy to have you. Fr Praveen, where are you from? What church are you serving at?
I am originally from India, a city named Hyderabad in southern part of India, the state of Telangana. Right now, I'm at St. Pius X Catholic Church in San Antonio, Texas. I'm the parochial vicar, and I've been in the United States now. This is my 13th year.
Oh, wow.
So the city of Hyderabad, where I was born and raised, has 11 million people today as of 2022.
Wow.
It's one of the fastest growing IT cities in the world.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay. How many years have you been a priest, by the way? Or when were you ordained?
Yeah, I was ordained in the year 2017. So now this is my 6th year of being ordained a priest.
Okay.
And it's been wonderful 6 years.
Good.
Each year brings in a different challenge and a very different blessing and a grace.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Wow. Okay. So 2017. Okay, so how did you hear the call to priesthood? Because at first, many people told me, oh, Fr Praveen, he was Salesian and he's diocesan now. And what a wonderful, wonderful process and journey. But how did you first hear the call?
Correct. The first time I saw a priest was an Italian missionary from Milan area who came to the state where I am from. They learned our languages. That's the first priest who got registered in my mind. His name is Father Colombo Augustine, an Italian. Then I continued all my education in multiple Catholic schools. I left family at 6 to go to a boarding school. I changed 3 boarding schools. Imagine how mischievous I could have been, right? I had to change 3-4 times. But I had to leave my family together with my older brother. But the first thought of becoming a priest started when I was in 5th grade. But the earliest they could take me was I had to complete 7th grade. Means I had to be 12 or 13.
Okay.
So in the 6th grade, in the summer, one sister, a religious nun who was a principal, gave me a postcard with already the address of the Salesian vocation director and just told me to write, I'm coming for the vocation camp, period. And she mailed out the postcard. And that's how I ended up with the Salesian vocation camp a month. So at the time, I actually didn't know which priest I'm going to be. I just went for the vocation camp. So that's how I ended up with Salesians from 8th grade all the way to I completed my 6 years of being a temporary professed member of the province.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's all the way until 2010.
Okay. And then it was during that time is that when you decided to move to the United States, or how did that come to play?
I had the regular formation. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 grades, and then pre-novitiate and novitiate. And then I made my first profession. We were 14 in my class. And at the time of profession, and then 3 years of post-novitiate philosophy, undergraduate studies. So all this time, no thought of becoming a diocesan priest.
Okay.
I was a Salesian and I was moving in the direction of becoming a Salesian priest. But right before a year before final vows, the summer we are sent for an intense 3-month preparation. So if on May 24th of next year is my final vows, this summer is we are out at a renewal center. So that's when I got a kind of deeper reflection what I'm called to be in a diocesan priest, a religious priest, because I love to be in parish, being with the people. Not that religious are not with parishes, because religious have their own specific mission, right? So that's when I got more reflective about maybe diocesan priesthood is my calling. And I tell people I'm a diocesan because Don Bosco was a diocesan priest. I kind of justifying my reason to why I chose to become a diocesan priest. So when my classmates were making their final vows, that's when I left. But I couldn't join here right away because it's a big process to come as an international student and
Right.
visas and all that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that transition from India to the United States, were there any challenges, say culture shock, or just, I don't know, any like challenges or difficulties when it came to moving from India to the United States?
Oh, yes.
In regard to your vocation?
Definitely challenges. Yes. First of all, cultural challenges. In India, formation is more, confined. There are multiple people watching you. Formation itself here, more of responsibility. There are people accountable for you. Here, I'm accountable for myself to begin with. And cultural shock, like a seminarian having a car. Not even a priest could afford a car in India, and much less religious, right? Everything is for community. And the formation itself, in India, it's more of everyday sports, everyday manual labor, everyday community prayer. And when I made a transition to diocesan priesthood, it is, wow, United States, there's everything. You have your room, you have your car, and it's calling for more of personal responsibility. And also the way the food, the climate, and even the way we study theology here. The one difference I found is culturally shocking. In India, the professor does the summary for you and gives you, okay, this is what you study. Here, the professor gives you a bunch of books and you do the summary. So that's a big transition. Initially, I had some difficulties, but I began to love the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. And we thank God. We thank God for your vocation and for just this process.
Correct.
I love learning about different cultures and to know about our world, our Catholic Church all around the world. I do wonder about the vocations in India, because from what I understand, at least for the Salesian sisters, there's a lot of vocations from India. I always wonder, is there like a culture of vocations, or just in the family, is there a lot of respect for vocations, religious vocations? If you could share a little bit
That's
about
right.
that.
First of all, I owe so much to Salesians. Today, what I am, whatever I learned, be it anything in my life that are helping me right now for priesthood, I give entire credit to Salesians and the formation I received. Not that United States didn't do anything. It's more of building up on what I learned. And coming to vocations in India, as I said, we were 14 at first profession.
Okay.
Today, all 14 of us are priests. 12 are Salesians and 2 of us are diocesans. And vocations are booming in India. We received missionaries beginning 16th century, Portuguese, French, Dutch, Italians, finally the British. Now it's the time for India to give out. You see, go to Germany, couple of dioceses are completely united from India. Like look in San Antonio Archdiocese, we have 33 Indian priests today.
Yes.
And there are nuns. And I think it is family that fosters. I know some priests, 3 of them, all 3 are priests, 3 brothers. So what I think India has learned over what it has received is vocations are, first of all, the responsibility of a family. And I think the main reason is the family prayer. Every day, regardless of you live in a city or a village, people pray every day as families. I think that is the fundamental source, I would say, for vocations. Like today, Jesuits have 18 provinces in India, Salesians have 13 provinces, and Salesian sisters are thriving. Every other religious community is thriving because of that family prayer. Vocations don't come from the sky, they come from families.
Yes.
So, but it is nurtured through prayer. And when I say prayer, parents are not highly educated. Like my mom, she knew only to read a Bible. And when I saw that as early as a child, my mom reading the Bible every day before going to bed, I learned a great lesson of prayer. So that I think is the reason. And also the fear of God is big in India, not just for Christians and Catholics, Hindus, Muslims. The fear of God is instilled in children way early before they are even exposed to the realities of the world.
Oh wow. So they have a great respect for God, and
Yeah.
just the families are very intentional about prayer.
About it, yes.
I love that. That's so wonderful. And I think that's really something that families here in the United States, that's something that I would love to see.
Yeah,
We are very much in need of the family to support
Correct.
the vocations. So that's
I think Pope Francis says one of his encyclicals, the opening line is this: the joy of the family is the joy of the church. And I truly believe that joy is the result of prayer. It's not because of you own 3 cars or 3 mansion houses, big buildings. And that joy, again, gives out itself. Okay, I'm ready to give my daughter to being a religious sister. I'm open to give my 2 of my sons as priests. And as a matter of fact, 3 or 4. So it has become such a culture of vocations in India. Thank God right now we have a happy problem that we have excess amount of priests and religious to give out. As a matter of fact, some dioceses had to stop for a couple of years because there is no room in the seminary. What a happy problem to have, right?
That is a good problem to have.
So that's where we are at the moment.
Wow.
It's our time, I think, in terms of vocations to priesthood and religious life, to give to many countries that are like in a dire need.
That's fantastic. And we thank God for the vocations coming from India, because they're blessing us too in many different parts of the world.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
One other question. So you did mention family. What was your family's response to your vocation? Because you started the boarding school with the Salesians at, you said 6 years old?
No, 12 years.
Sorry.
Yeah.
When you were 12 years old. How did they respond once you went to the Salesian camp and then decided to, hopefully they did support it, as you shared about families in India?
Yes, definitely. Again, religious nuns played a significant role in my life. So that's the first boarding school I entered with sisters. And that sister, who was a principal, she already spoke to my parents before she spoke to me. So things were clear on their end. So I just had to write with my handwriting. And my parents said, just go. Like there is no big consultation, Okay, I'm discerning. I think the word discernment has already happened. Now, the process of discernment has already happened. So in India, there is no big objection like parents, from the part of parents always. But of course, for a girl, they would consider, because, you want your girl to be with you. And, in that cultural family setup in India, girl has to be with mom. But even then, you see the religious nuns are so many in number.
Yes.
So it's not like a formal discussion. Hey, mom, I'm leaving to the seminary. So sisters already did the job for me. I just have to show up. But once I started becoming more intentional about, like, after my high school and undergraduate school, I had to tell my parents, okay, now this is the first profession, this is in or out. But they said, go for it, But the only concern they had was when I had this transition from Salesian life to diocesan priesthood, because it involved relocating myself to a different continent altogether. My mother was a bit concerned because the process was longer. And then I had to keep telling her, don't worry, it is going in the right direction. It going the right, because it is not just what I want to do, I'm responding to God's will. Things may not be clear right away on day one, but things will be clear on day 100. And here,
Wow. Okay, that's great. I love hearing about the sisters who really paved the way for you, and also how they communicated
Correct.
with your family in order to support your
Yep.
vocation. That's wonderful. Father Praveen, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. And I am just very, very happy, very blessed to hear more about your vocation story. So thank you. I do want to ask you about your vocation song. Is there a song or any songs that relates to your call or God's calling in your life? The name of the song, maybe the one who wrote the song. What is this song?
Sure. First, I have two songs, one in my own mother tongue called Telugu, which is called Italian of the East.
Okay.
So for Salesians, Italian language is your mother tongue, right? So one Italian explorer who came to my country and found my language ending with Italian vowels. So this song was written by a deceased bishop, Bishop Johannes. He died like 10 years ago. This song is Ne vinnadi vintunnadi నిజమేనా శత్రువులను సహితము ప్రేమించుము అన్నావట నిజమేనా నే విన్నది వింటున్నది నిజమేనా. The meaning is it true what I'm hearing is right? Is it real that what I'm being called is correct? That you're calling me to go to those places which I never heard of? That you're pushing me to love people who I have never seen? That's the meaning of these first words.
Wow.
The first two sentences I have sang. Other song I really liked after I came here is Shepherd Me, O God by Marty Hodgen.
Oh, yes,
It's a beautiful hymn, because for priesthood and every vocation, I think more so in the Salesian family, Don Bosco received Jesus as the Good Shepherd. And at the core of every formation, be it diocesan or religious, it is Jesus the Good Shepherd, after whose heart we are called to form our hearts. So this hymn is so pivotal to me, because the aspect of shepherding is what we are called to do. After the heart of the Good Shepherd, Jesus the Christ. So I'll just sing two lines. Shepherd me, O God, beyond my wants, beyond my fears, from death into life. God is my shepherd, so nothing shall I want. I rest in the meadows of faithfulness and love. I walk by the quiet waters of peace.
Wonderful. Thank you, Father Praveen. You're the first one who decided to sing, to go and sing unaccompanied. Thank you so much.
Great. I learned music with Salesians, Indian classical music, but Western music is a little difficult. But these two songs, hymns, are at the core of who I am, and they keep pushing me to the great limits. Especially formation doesn't end with the seminary. Formation begins in the real ground, in ministry. It's easy to be misled by my own passions and desires, but that core has to be the heart of Jesus at the formation.
Fantastic. Amen to that. Yes,
definitely.
And before we go, do you have any word of advice for any young men who are considering priesthood, especially diocesan priesthood, or even in our archdiocese here of San Antonio? What word of advice do you have of them, word of encouragement for them to go for it, to consider?
Sure. I remember one big poster I have seen when I was sent to Creighton University in 2012 for summer formation of diocesan spirituality in the eighth floor. A poster that said, and this is my advice and recommendation to anyone, be it religious life, be it priesthood, diocesan or religious priesthood. It is a faith response which we already received at baptism, and we want to push it to greater heights when one chooses to be a religious consecrated woman or a priest. The quote said, God does not play games